Hi, everyone. For this demo, I'm going to be featuring this really cool reference photo that a friend of mine in South Dakota took when I was training, actually, to be an artist. And he had us come to his studio and just took a whole bunch of different pictures. And I did this original demo as a live stream, and I sped it up here. So you can see I did that on the day of my 15-year anniversary with my wife. And so it was fun to look back at that old reference and remember those times. She doesn't look much different I do, though. But, you know, this is going to be a really good way for you to see how to utilize a photo ref. So one of the things I want you to see first is that the photo itself is cool. You know, it's that seems like something simple, I know, but the photo itself is a really good one. There's very clear lights and darks. The light direction is easily noticeable. You know, we know it's coming from left to right. The shadows are cohesive. There isn't a ton of reflected light showing up in there. You know, it's very straightforward. And what that does is it provides the viewer with information right off the bat. If you have confusing lighting to begin with, then it'll make it confusing for the viewer when you actually paint it or draw it. Yeah, you may be drawn into those really complex lighting scenarios and where you have a bunch of reflected light and a bunch of things going on. And they're great photos. You know, there's lots of different types of photos. But when you're looking for something for reference as an artist, usually the more straightforward thing works better. A lot of times something either lighting-wise or even proportion-wise, like for instance on this figure, if there's a real strange angle that we're looking at a particular arm or a leg or a foot or something, and when you're looking at it in the photo, you don't realize. You look at it and you just accept it because it's part of a photo, and we know photos document reality really well. So we look at it and we feel like, okay, that's the way it's supposed to be. But then all of a sudden when you transfer that over to your canvas or your paper and you realize, wow, that arm actually does look kind of weird, and now I'm drawing it and painting it exactly the way I see it, but it looks weird. So, you know, you want to look for photo reference that doesn't have any strangeness to it like that. It takes a little bit, you know, it's a little while to get used to looking for that, but it's those simple things that really make a big difference. You know, a lot of times people are starting with a photo that's bad in a number of ways. Lighting, you know, the proportion is weird, and there's a number of things that don't work, you know, very well. Now, the other thing that is tied up in all that as well is that whenever you're working from a photo reference, like I'm doing here, don't feel the need to copy every little thing that you see on the photo reference. That's a real temptation, I think. But you have to remember that you're not looking at reality when you're looking at the photo ref. You're looking at something that has been altered by the camera. So you're looking at it more to understand what was going on. And that, in some ways, gives you a lot more freedom to then take that and use that as a springboard to build on. So you can see what I'm doing here is, you know, look at my strokes. Like, my strokes are not, they're much more textural. I'm not blending everything a ton. I'm taking a cue from the values that I see there, from the proportion, from the edges, but I'm not feeling like I need to stick with that completely and just completely copy it, because photos are a representation of reality, right? If you're doing something from life, you're going to see all the subtleties. You're going to see all those slight shifts in value and edge and things like that. But on a photo, it tends to be simplified and sometimes in a way that you wouldn't prefer. You know, photos generally are going to harden the edges. Photos are going to make the values a little bit more contrasty sometimes. It depends on the situation, but usually they'll make it a little bit more contrasty as well. So you just have to consider all of that when it comes to utilizing a photo. You know, if you, at the end of the day, let's say you copy the photo exactly as you see it, right? And you have done this great painting and it looks exactly like the photo that you have, then it really begs the question, doesn't it? It begs the question, well, why did I do this painting? If no one can literally tell the difference between, you know, my painting and this photo, then why not just have the photo? You know, a painting or a drawing or a work of art has to be something beyond that, something a little bit different. You know, you can stick very close to it. You know, if you like a lot of the qualities of the reference that you have, you know, you can stick very close to it. Especially, you know, if you've spent a lot of time with the lighting and if the setup is really cool like this one is, you know, you can stick very close to it. But you can see here, I'm capturing the essence of what's going on there. But I'm changing things quite a bit. There's a lot of little subtle things, softer edges here and there, thicker strokes, you know, harder edges here and there, a little bit of a change of the value scheme and things like that. You know, if you want your paint to be darker in feel, then maybe you can darken the values down. Maybe you can make the edges a little bit harder. If you want it to be a little bit lighter, a little bit more innocent, Maybe you can lighten the values. Maybe you can soften some of the edges, And if you're, capturing reference to use for something in your imaginary work, you can pretty much change it however you want. If you need a turtle shell texture, or you need, to see what a sea anemone looks like, you can, get that reference and then utilize that in the best way. But you can still analyze it based on proportion, value, edge, and color. You can still analyze what's going on in the original that way. So don't feel constrained. That's a big part of this. Use that reference, use that photo to enhance your work. Whatever you want to achieve, let it be a tool to help you achieve that. Don't let it be, an end in and of itself. That's a very important thing to keep in mind. And you can see I've really done that here. I've stuck pretty close to the reference because it was really cool and I liked it a lot. But I have changed things quite a bit too. So hopefully all these tips will help you, and go out there and take some really good reference and utilize it and make some great paintings and drawings. Hi, my name is Jonathan Hardesty, and I've been a fine artist for 13 years. In my class, Essentials of Realism, we're going to explore what makes a work of art look realistic. As a representational painter, I've had to think about realism a lot over the years. And realism breaks down to 4 key concepts: proportion, value, edge, and color. In my class, we're going to learn how to understand those concepts, observe them properly from reality, and also be able to manipulate them while maintaining realism. All lectures are pre-recorded, so it doesn't matter what time zone you're in or what your sleeping habits are. You can access all the content when it's convenient for you. There's also no specific medium requirement for this class. Students can learn just as effectively painting and drawing digitally. Throughout the length of this class, I'll be available to answer your questions, help you with any problems, and give you one-on-one personalized instruction. In each stage, I'll be painting directly over top of your work and helping you grasp these concepts and make them your own. I have a real passion for teaching, so I'm looking forward to seeing you in my class. Sign up right away because there's only a limited amount of spaces. I'll see you there.